to a story that's going to lead into something else we're doing. Let's talk super quick about Brad Pitt, and he's made some recent comments. Obviously, he just has come out with the film Ad Astra, which his production company Plan B was behind, but also he's the lead role of the film. Some people have made a big deal about his performance in the film, and that like maybe this is going to be Oscars worthy. But he actually came out and said, and I think the actual comment is, "Oh man, I'm going to abstain." And then he also goes on to say, I mean, you never know, and it's really nice when your number comes up. But the goal is for the film to land, to speak to someone, whether it's now or a decade from now. I find chasing it actually a disservice to the purity of your telling a story and shackling thing to focus on. And he's talking about doing an Oscar campaign for his role in the film, or for the film in general, which is kind of interesting because, Brad Pitt doesn't actually, I think, do that many things that often. But this year he just happened to come out with 2 films. He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, as well as Ad Astra. Both are, there's been some buzz that, he could be up for an Oscar in both as a supporting role in Once Upon a Time, as well as maybe even as a
best performance or best male actor
for Ad Astra. Interesting that, and to my knowledge, I don't think he's ever actually won an Oscar, unless I'm mistaken. Don't expect to hit the Oscar campaign trail.
I think he's been nominated, but yes, I don't think he's
think he's ever actually won. So it's very interesting that he's saying this, because on one hand, this could be like I don't want it, but then you actually do want it, and this is sort of your way to be like, I'm going to pretend like I don't want it, so when I do, or to make them think like it's like the reverse psychology shit. Maybe if I just tell them I don't want it, maybe that means they'll give it to me.
Now, I think both those things could live in the same space at the same time, right? Sure. I think you could want something, but not want it bad enough to go and chase it, right? Like, hey, I do want to win, but I'm not going to go campaign for it. I'm not going to, try and convince everybody that they should give me this award.
Yeah.
If I win it, great, because I do want to win it. If I don't, the quality of my work still speaks for itself, and it's still a great movie. So I really respect what he's doing right here. He's like, I did the work already. I acted. I put my heart and soul into it. It was a great performance. I just want the film to speak for itself, and for people, if they decide that they love it, put me in Oscar contention. But I'm not going to go and try and convince you that this movie was great. Yeah. I just want you to find that for yourself.
Yeah. So I think these are really good comments from him, because I think this should be what it's about. The whole idea of campaigning for an Oscar, to me, is just silly. Like, so this film that I made that people can just develop their own fucking opinions about, you're telling me I have to go and fucking go on the campaign trail to like take people out to fucking lunch and fucking, fondle their balls or some shit just to fucking get an Oscar? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Just fucking watch the movie and tell me if you like it or not. If you don't, fuck it. Like, if you do, good. Like, whatever. Like, just the whole idea of it is just weird. Like, it shouldn't be that way at all. And yet it definitely is. There is Oscar campaigning season when, people go around and campaign for certain films and shit like that. And it's just all very Hollywood in that it makes no sense, and yet somehow it's like the golden
somehow it still happens, and it's still perfectly acceptable to do.
Yeah. And so I think this is good for Brad Pitt, although I will like to see sort of what his, like, I think he really wants that shit though, especially for this film. I think he's proud of this
and
film.
I also think it's like some reverse psychology shit too. It's like, I want it, I don't want it, I'm not going to campaign for it. I'm just going to be at home with my kids trying to finalize this divorce with Angelina Jolie. Right? Yeah. And then people are going to be like, oh, wow, he's really a great guy. I'm going to vote for him. Right? A little bit of reverse psychology there. But like I said, I think he wants it. But I do respect the fact that he's like, I'm just going to let the work speak for itself. I'm not going to campaign for it. I'm not going to try and convince you to love it. If you love it, you love it. Great. If you don't love it today, that's fine. If you don't love it tomorrow, that's fine. If you find this movie 5 years from now and you really enjoy it, like one of the comments he made was that, so he was, and I forget which interview this in this was in. Oh no, this was a GQ magazine, right? He was like, most of my films, which I feel is a mistake, get defined by the opening weekend. I'll say this, they'll say it's a hit or miss, but all of my favorite films I found after the fact, which I think is true for most people. Like some of my favorite movies, I don't ever remember seeing in theaters or, opening weekend. It's kind of like a movie you stumble upon, right? Down the road, and you're like, holy shit, this is great. It's one of my favorite movies. So I identified with his comments in that interview.
Yeah. And on that note,